Hi guys, good morning and a very warm welcome to the session here. I can see some of you have already joined us here. A very good morning everyone. I hope you guys are doing well and your preparations are going good too. Well, today's session, as you know, is again based on most expected questions for your upcoming RBI Grade B, right? So this is the third session of this particular series. So chalo, let's quickly start the session here. Good morning everyone. आई होप एवरीबडी हैज ऑलरेडी लाइक द सेशन। तो सेशन को लाइक नहीं किया है तो सबसे पहले तो सेशन को लाइक कर दो और एक बार शेयर कर दो सबके साथ, अपने फ्रेंड्स के साथ, दैट द क्लास हैज स्टार्टेड। ओके, and yes, if you have not downloaded the app for Oliveboard, do download it from Play Store and also do not forget to subscribe to the particular channel। ठीक है, तो जल्दी से सब्सक्राइब कर लो अगर रेगुलरली आपको क्लासेस के नोटिफिकेशंस चाहिए कि कौन सी क्लास कब होने वाली है। ओके, चलो, so let's quickly start the questions for today, right? This is the very first question on your screen, a very nice question, बहुत अच्छे level का question है। Let's try it out, right? I'll remove myself from the screen for a while so that you can see the complete question here। Okay, तो चलो इसको जल्दी से देखो कि किस तरह से करना है। Let's try it out। Good morning everyone, try this out very quickly। Go through the question, guys. This is based on slots, right? So a slot based question, you can see there are three intervals as well. Okay, 15 minutes interval is there, I hope you guys might have gone through the particular question here. सबने पढ़ लिया होगा क्वेश्चन को एक बार. अच्छा चलो एक काम करते हैं, इसको साथ में सॉल्व करते हैं, राइट? लेट्स सॉल्व इट टुगेदर. लेट्स सी दैट हाउ दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन कैन बी सॉल्व्ड इजीली. So you can see that there are 7 friends who are participating in different sports, right? And they are playing, they are practicing in different practice sessions which are of 1 hour each. And also you can see that there are 3 different intervals between these practice sessions, and these intervals are of 15 minutes, right? So that means 7 different sports and 3 intervals. That means 10 slots in total, out of which we have 7 for these plays, for these sports, and 3 for the intervals here. Okay. It is also given that if one person finishes a practice session at 9, the next person would start at 9 unless there is a gap or an interval, right? So that is mentioned here. तो चलो इसको check करते हैं that how this particular question is to be done here. It is said the slot of the one who practiced volleyball starts immediately after a gap and it ends at 12:15, right? So you can see here that and has been used. That means we have two informations about this volleyball. That is one, let's say this is your volleyball here, right? So volleyball starts immediately after a gap. That means this is a gap period here, right? So volleyball starts immediately after a gap and this ends at 12:15. Okay. So this volleyball is ending at 12:15. That means it must have started at 11:15. Why? Because we know that these are 1 hour intervals, right? These happen in 1 hour interval here. So that means this gap also must have ended at 11:15 here. And if it ended at 11:15, that means it must have started at 11 here, right? Isn't it? You can see that this must have started at 11. I hope this is clear, everybody. So that means whatever is after volleyball will also start at 12:15 here. Okay. Now what is given? G's practice session ended at 2:30 p.m. So you can see from 12:15 we have to cover till 2:30. Now let's see how do we do that. Okay. Not 2:30, something like G's is ending at 2:30. That means he must be starting at 1:30 here because these are 1 hour slots here, isn't it? So that means इससे पहले वाला 1:30 तक रहा होगा. If it is till 1:30, that means either it can be starting at 1:15 or you can say it can start at 12:30 as well, right? Depending on whatever is this gap period here, whether it is a gap or whether it is a complete here, right? So you can see, let's say if we take this is starting at 12:15. Okay. Now this is 12:15. Either it is 12:15 to, let's say, it can be 1:15 here, right? Then 1:15 to 1:30 here, and then we can have 1:30 to 2:30 here, right? Because one of them has to be a gap, because from 12:15 we have to cover till 2:30. That is G's practice session ending at 2:30 here, isn't it? So one possibility is that you take 12:15 to 12:30, then 12:30 to 1:30, and then this one will be your 12:30, 1:30 to 2:30, this particular one, isn't it? Other possibility is that you take this of 1 hour, like let's say 12:15 to 1:15, then again 1:15 to 1:30. So you can see in either of the cases, this one has to end at 1:30 here, isn't it? And this will be the one which will be starting at 1:30 and ending at 2:30 here. I hope this is clear, everybody. ये समझ में आया सबको, everybody? Okay, so you can see that this is the case that we are getting here. So now we know that this person is your G, right? ये कौन है? ये G है, because it is given G's practice session ended at 2:30 p.m. right? So G is ending at 2:30. That means this is your G here. Now it says the difference between starting time of G's practice session and ending time of the practice session of the one who practiced tennis is 2 hours 15 minutes, right? So you can see that the ending time of tennis, right? What is given here? Ending time of tennis has to be how much? It has to have Rigved, what is not clear? Dekho, first of all, it was given that volleyball is immediately after a gap period, okay, and it is ending at 12:15. So you can see volleyball is ending at 12:15. That means it must be starting at 11:15 here, because these games are played in 1 hour duration. Okay, so volleyball must be 11:15 to 12:15. and it is immediately after a gap period. That means gap period must have ended at 11:15 and it must have started at 11, because the gap intervals are of 15 minutes here. Okay, so you can see this is the first case. Now, if this volleyball is ending at 12:15, that means the next must be starting at 12:15 here. And then we know that G's practice session has to end at 2:30 p.m. Okay, so 2:30 p.m. will be somewhere after this 12:15, and the gap between 12:15 to 2:30 is 2 hours 30 minutes. Now, how do you cover that? The only possibility will be that G has to be here. Either this will be a gap period and this will be a 1 hour time, or this will be a gap period and this will be a 1 hour duration, right? That is the only possibility to cover your 2 hours 30 minutes from 2 hours 15 minutes from 12:15 to 2:30, right? Like this is 12:15, so this can be 12:15 to 1:15, next can be 1:15 to 1:30, and then G can be 1:30 to 2:30. Or this particular can be a gap period like 12:15 to 12:30, then we have 12:30 to 1:30, then we have 1:30 to 2:30, right? So these are the possibilities here. But in either of the cases, you can see that G has to be here at a gap of 2 from volleyball. That is the only process to place your G ending at 2:30. Are we now clear, everyone? So here we are having these plays, these games or these sports in 1 hour duration, and the intervals in 15 minutes duration. Okay, so you can see G has already been done. We know G's starting time is 1:30, right? It is said that the difference between the starting time of G and ending time of tennis is 2 hours 15 minutes. So what are the possibilities for tennis ending time here? Either it has to be 1:30 plus 2 hours 15 minutes, that means 2:30, 3:30 and 3:45, right? So either it has to be a 3:45, isn't it? Either it has to be a 3:45, or it has to be minus, that is 1:30 minus 2 hours 15 minutes, so 11:15. So you can see either it has to be a 11:15 or it has to be a 3:45. Now you can see 11:15 ending time for tennis is not a possibility. Why? Because you can see that 11:15 ending time is already there for this particular gap, isn't it? ये gap तो already 11:15 ले चुका है. That means this is not a possibility. So tennis has to be here, right? So tennis will be the one which is going to end at 3:45. Okay. So you can understand, if something is ending at 3:45, so that means again this is 2:30 something to maybe 3:30. But 3:30 to 3:45 is not possible, because tennis has to be played in a 1 hour duration. That means this has to be 2:45 to 3:45. That means this again has to be a gap period here, isn't it? So you can see this also will be a gap period, 2:30 to 2:45, and the next will be your tennis here played in this particular slot, which is from 2:45 onwards to 3:45. Okay, I hope this is clear, everybody. Okay, so we are getting this kind of a scenario. Okay, after that, let's see what is given. Also, if you check the last line, it also says there are at least two intervals before B's turn. Two intervals means two gap intervals before B's turns, right? And also, if you check, it is also given that we have three people who are there, right? They are only three people are practicing before B. So that means there has to be minimum, there has to be three people before B and minimum two gaps before B. That means before B there has to be at least five different slots, isn't it? There can be six also, because it is said that there are at least two intervals before B, but there has to be maximum three people, not maximum, there has to be exactly three people and at least two different interval slots before B. So that means maximum there can be six slots before B or five slots before B, depending on the intervals before B. Okay, so let's take where can we have your B, right? It is also known that B is not playing volleyball here, right? It is given here that B who neither played tennis nor volleyball. So B is not playing volleyball. That means B cannot be here. So either you can see that B can be this person. Let's say if B is this person. So you can see this is one slot before him. This is two slots before him. This is a gap interval. And you will see that yes, we can have this anyways here as another person, right? That is a possibility for B. And we know that one of these two, that is either of these two, also have to be a gap interval here, isn't it? One of these two, that is before G, immediately before G, one of them had to be a gap interval of 15 minutes. So now let's say if you take your B at this particular position, you will see that this will be a gap interval here, and we will have three gap intervals already. So we cannot have your B such that we have minimum two gap intervals before B, right? So you can see that the only possibility such that we have three persons before B and at least two gap intervals before B, the only possibility will be B at this particular position. I hope this is clear. So this is going to be your B here. So if this is your B's interval, that means this is going to be a 1 hour interval, and this one is going to be the gap period here, right? This is going to be the 15 minutes gap period. I hope this is clear, guys. So this is going to be 12:15 to 12:30, and B will be 12:30 onwards, 12:30 to 1:30. Okay, ये B हो गया. Okay, I hope this is clear. After that, let's see what else do we have here. So now we have three people before B, right? It is not three different slots before B. So one person is here before B, right? This is not one person. You can see this is a gap period. So this is not a person before B. So two gaps already there, right? That is already done. So you can see one person is this. So that means there should be two more slots before him, isn't it? There should be two more slots before volleyball as well. Why? Because there have to be three persons before B, isn't it? So you can see the starting time will be something from here, right? This will be the first slot that we will have. I hope this is clear, everybody. So let's say if this is your first slot, okay, this is your first slot for the game. This is the second slot for the game. This volleyball is in the third slot for the game. This is your fourth slot. This is your fifth slot. This is tennis in sixth slot. So that means there will be one person after tennis as well in the seventh slot here. Okay. So this is the situation that we are getting here. Okay. So these are the seven different slots where we will be having your games being played, and this is an interval. Okay, this is one interval, this is second interval here, and this is the third interval here. Okay, I hope this is clear, everybody. Any doubts till here, guys? Please let me know. Everybody clear till here? यहाँ तक सबको समझ में आया कि नहीं? Okay, so we have already seen the seven different intervals. Okay, seven intervals हमें मिल गए for the plays, also for the games as well, and three different intervals for the 15-minute breaks also, right? तो सारे slots हमें मिल चुके हैं. Okay, so you can see we have three persons playing before your B. One of them is playing volleyball, other two we do not know. ठीक है, आगे देखते हैं what is given. There is no gap between the practice session of A, who plays badminton, and the one who plays cricket. Okay, do we have any other information about badminton? If you see, it is given the difference between the ending time of B's practice session and the ending time of the practice session of badminton is 2 hours 30 minutes, right? So you can see the difference between B's ending time and badminton's ending time has to be how much? 2 hours 30 minutes. So you can see B's ending time is 1:30, right? So that means badminton's ending time has to be how much? कितना हो सकता है? There are two possibilities. Either badminton can be before B or after B, right? So 2 hours 30 minutes after B. Let's say यहाँ पर भी ये 3:45 है. So you can see this also has to be 3:45 to 4:45 here, right? So you can see if B is ending at 1:30, so 1:30 plus 2:30, that is 2 hours 30 minutes, will be how much? That is 2:30, 3:30 and 4. So that means one possibility is that badminton is ending at 4. But you can see there is nothing which is ending at 4, right? Last wala to 3:45 to 4:45 hai. That means 4 is not a possibility. So that means you have to take it before B here, right? So 1:30 minus 2 hours 30 minutes करना पड़ेगा, है ना? So 2 hours 30 minutes minus करो 1:30 से, how much it will be? It will be 1:30 से 12:30, 12:30 से 11:30, and then we have 11, right? So that means badminton would be the one which is ending at 11 here, isn't it? So you can see this is the one which is ending at 11. So that means this must be starting at 10 here, and this is also ending at 10 here and starting at 9 a.m. onwards. So you can see this is badminton. Okay, ये आपका बैडमिंटन हो गया. And we know that there is A who is playing badminton, right? It is said that there is no gap between the practice session of A who plays badminton. So that means this is your A, right? And there is no gap between A and cricket. That means cricket kaun sa hoga? This will be your cricket here, isn't it? I hope this is clear everyone. तो हमें क्रिकेट भी मिल गया, ठीक है. तो हमें क्रिकेट और ए मिल गया. नाउ डू वी हैव एनी अदर इंफॉर्मेशन? लेट्स ट्राई इट आउट. ओके, सो नाउ इट इज सेड इन द लास्ट लाइन. देखो क्या दे रखा है डी के बारे में. डी डज नॉट प्रैक्टिस इमीडिएटली बिफोर और आफ्टर द गैप, राइट. डी कहाँ कहाँ नहीं हो सकता, इमीडिएटली बिफोर और आफ्टर द गैप. सो यू कैन सी डी कैन आइदर बी दिस पर्सन हु इज प्लेइंग क्रिकेट, ठीक है, ये हो सकता है डी प्लेइंग क्रिकेट. And similarly, D cannot be volleyball. Similarly, D cannot be tennis here. D can be in the last one also, that is 3:45 to 4:45. So D is either playing cricket or D is in the last slot here. ठीक है, चलो और आगे देखते हैं what is given. The number of persons who practiced between E and the one who played cricket was same as between C and the one who practiced football. ठीक है, ये भी एक चीज दे रखा है. एंड डू वी हैव एनी अदर इंफॉर्मेशन हियर? आगे देखते हैं, चलो ठीक है. तो ये वाला करेंगे, उसके बाद देखो either B or F is playing kabaddi. So right now we do not know where is F. So either of B also can play kabaddi at the 4th slot and F also can be there playing kabaddi at the 7th slot here. ठीक है, तो चेक करेंगे बाद में. Neither C nor D is playing football. One person practiced between F and the one who played basketball here. ठीक है. So you can see that F has to be such that there is only one person between F and basketball. ठीक है, तो कहाँ कहाँ हो सकता है F? You can say, let's say if you take your F here at this position playing cricket, so that means basketball cannot be placed because we already have volleyball here, है ना? So that means F cannot be cricket. Let's say if we take your F playing as volleyball, right? So one person between F and this person who is playing basketball. अब ये वाला गैप तो कंसिडर करोगे नहीं, बिकॉज देयर हैज टू बी वन गेम बिटवीन एफ एंड वॉलीबॉल. सो यू कैन सी इफ यू टेक योर एफ हियर, so one person between F and this basketball will be here, so G will be basketball. Similarly, let's say if you take F at this position, that is F is playing tennis, then B will be basketball. But we know either F or B has to be kabaddi, so it is not possible that F is tennis and B is basketball, right? So F tennis नहीं हो सकता. Similarly, either you take your F at this position, so अगर F को यहाँ पर रखा, then again your basketball will be for your G because there is tennis between F and basketball. ठीक है, तो F can be, you can see F either can be playing volleyball or F can be at the 7th position. But in either of the situations, you can see basketball has to be this one only, right? G will be the one who is playing your basketball. ठीक है, ये basketball हो जाएगा. ओके, चलो आगे चेक करते हैं. लेट्स सी व्हाटएवर इज रिमेनिंग. ठीक है, so now you can see that we have this position, either F is volleyball or F has to be in the 7th one. ठीक है, so one person between F and basketball. Right now we cannot place your F here. आगे देखो क्या दे रखा है. ई नीदर प्रैक्टिस बैडमिंटन नॉर बास्केटबॉल. ठीक है, तो ई जो है वो बैडमिंटन भी नहीं हो सकता. बैडमिंटन एनीवेज इज टेकन बाय ए हियर and E cannot be your basketball also. You can see basketball is also taken by G here. ठीक है, तो E के लिए तो प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है. Only 3 persons are there before B. B is not tennis or volleyball. Tennis and volleyball भी जा चुका है, तो प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. The difference between ending time of B's practice session and ending time of badminton is 2 hours 30 minutes done. D does not immediately before or after the gap. There are at least 2 intervals before B's turn. ठीक है, तो D को देखो, D क्रिकेट भी हो सकता है, D लास्ट वाले में भी हो सकता है. We have already seen. So now we are left to place this information. That is the number of persons who practice between E and cricket is same as that between C and football, right? So you can see E and cricket के बीच में उतने ही persons होने चाहिए. That means the number of persons between E and cricket has to be same as that between C and football, right? So you can see neither C nor D plays football. That is also given here. तो C या D football नहीं खेलते. That भी, ये भी दे रखा है. ठीक है, so let's say where should we take your this one, that is your E and C. ठीक है, let's say if we take your E at this position, okay, let's say if E plays volleyball here, so number of persons between E and cricket will be 1, that is your A, right? So can we have one person between your D and this person, that is your football, right? Because number of persons between E and cricket has to be same as between C and football, sorry. So अगर मान लो E को, let's use another color, because now we will have to take case. ठीक है, मान लो अगर हमने E को यहाँ पर रखा, right? So if we have E here, so we have one person between E and cricket, that is your A. So we should have one person between your C and football as well, right? So where should we have your C? So in that case, your C cannot be the seventh person that is at the end, because we cannot take your football because basketball is already there. So your C can be here and B can be your football, right? That's a possibility that B can be football, है ना? So you can see in this particular situation, you can see what happens. E and cricket is at a gap of one person, right? There is only one person between E and cricket, who is your A. And similarly, there is again one person between C and football, that is your G, है ना? So that means this is absolutely okay. There is the number of persons between E and cricket is same as that between C and football. तो ये तो हो गया, ठीक है. अब अगर B football खेल रहा है, that means your F should be playing kabaddi. So you can see F kabaddi will be here, right? This will be your F kabaddi, isn't it? And you can see the only person remaining is your D, so D will be playing cricket here. I hope this is clear, everybody. So you can see that this will be the final answer that you will be getting here. ये सबको समझ में आया कि नहीं? This was a very very nice question. एक अच्छा question था based on slots here. Okay, now this was tricky because you can see there are different intervals as well. बीच में intervals दे रखे हैं. So once you consider that how many persons are there before B, right? You should not consider the intervals in between, right? Because persons अगर बोला है 3 persons before B, so you should see that yes, we have E, A and D playing before B, right? You will not be considering the intervals here. Similarly, one person between E and cricket. So you can see, yes, there is only A who is playing between E and cricket, isn't it? तो उस तरह से इंटरवल को कंसिडर करके, गैप कंसिडर करके, you have to take the slots here. Are we clear with this particular question, guys? Please let me know if we have doubts here. Anybody, any doubts? ये समझ में आया कि नहीं? Are we clear with this question? चलो एक और अच्छा क्वेश्चन करते हैं. लेट्स सी हाउ दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन इज टू बी डन. लेट्स ट्राई दिस. चलो ट्राई दिस आउट. A very nice question. Easy सा question है based on shadow concept. So if you know the concept of shadow, you will be able to do it very very easily. अगर shadow का concept नहीं पता है तो कोई बात नहीं, मैं बता दूंगी, ठीक है? Just try it out. Let's see. एनीबडी, किसी का आंसर आया? अच्छा चलो, लेट्स अंडरस्टैंड द शैडो कॉन्सेप्ट फर्स्ट. देखो शैडो का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या होता है, दैट द शैडो इज ऑलवेज फॉर्म्ड ऑपोजिट टू द sun's direction. Okay, Rakshit says it has to be 2. So let's try it out, right? So wherever is the sun, the shadow will be always opposite to that particular direction, because we have studied in physics that shadow is formed opposite to the light source. A light source is the sun, so that means in the morning when the sun is in the east, the shadow will be formed towards the west, isn't it? Shadow कहाँ बनेगा? West में बनेगा, because sun is in the east here. Now it depends which direction you are facing, right? Let's say if you are facing the north, then shadow will be towards your left hand side, because अगर आप north में देख रहे हो तो shadow कहाँ पर है? Shadow west में है. So you can see west is towards your left hand side, so that means when you are facing the north, the shadow is towards your left hand side. Similarly, if you are facing the south, the shadow will be towards your right hand side, isn't it? Similarly, if you are facing the east, the shadow will be behind you. है ना? Shadow कहाँ होगा? Behind you, because west is behind you. And similarly, let's say if you are facing the west, that means shadow will be in front of you. So it depends on which direction you are facing. है ना? तो ये आपका concept होता है for the shadow. That is, shadow is formed always opposite to the sun's direction. Wherever is the sun, the shadow will be formed opposite to it. ठीक है? तो चलो इसको देखते हैं किस तरह से करना है. सो एट अराउंड 8 am, 8 am मीन्स मॉर्निंग टाइम, Atul is standing at point A and is facing a particular direction, and his shadow is towards his left. So we know at 8 am the sun will be towards the east, so the shadow will be towards his left hand side, right? So shadow will be towards the west. Now shadow should be towards his left hand side, that means he must be facing the north direction. जब वो नॉर्थ डायरेक्शन देखेगा तभी तो आपका शैडो लेफ्ट साइड में होगा, है ना? Shadow is towards the left hand side, so this will be your shadow towards the west. And you can see when you are facing the north, then only shadow is towards your left hand side, right? So that means he is facing the north here, and this is your point A. Okay, now he walks in straight direction for 10 meters and reaches point X. Let's say this is your X and this is your 10 meters. Then he turns towards the northeast direction and walks for 15 meters. So you can see northeast कितना जाता है? 15 meters. Then he turns towards the south and walks 9 meters and reaches east of X. So you can see he reaches a point which is east of X and south of this particular point. That means he reaches at this particular point here, isn't it? So you can see how much is this distance. You can see he turns towards the northeast, walks 15. He turns towards south, walks for 9 meters. So ये 9 meters है. तो ये x और ये पर्टिकुलर डायरेक्शन के बीच का डिस्टेंस कितना होगा? You can see if this is 15, this is 9, that means this has to be 12 here, right? Pythagorean triplet at 9, 12 and 15. So you can see this distance will be 12 meters here, isn't it? So he reaches at this particular position. यहाँ पहुंच गया वो. Now from here he takes a left turn and reaches point B after walking for 12 meters. तो यहाँ से इस particular point से again he takes a, you can see 12 meter turns towards the left. So this is your 12 meters and he reaches point B. ठीक है, ये B पे पहुंच गया. Now what is given? He spends some time there and at around 5 p.m. 5 p.m. मतलब the sun has already set. The sun must be towards the west, so the shadow will be formed towards the east here. ठीक है, अब 5 p.m. पे कितने बजे shadow कहाँ पर होगा? You can see shadow has to be towards the east because the sun is now towards the west, है ना? So you can see now shadow will be towards the east here. Shadow इस side होगी, है ना? Now what is said, after that he starts walking in a direction where he is following his shadow, right? So if he is following his shadow, that means he is going in the direction of his shadow, right? Shadow is towards the east, that means he has to go towards the east. He walks for 7 meters, right? So यहाँ से फिर से 7 meters जाता है. Let's say this is your 7 meters here, okay? Turns towards his right and walks for 5 meters. तो यहाँ से 5 meters आता है. So this is your 5 meters here. Okay, he turns towards the west and walks for 24 meters. Of 24 meters, you can see this is your 12 and 7. 12 and 7 means how much? 19. 19 plus 5 has to be there. That means he has to reach at this particular position here, right? इधर तक आ गया. And you can see this is how much? This is your 5 meters here. So that means this remaining has to be 7 because this total was 12, है ना? And similarly you can see this is also 5 and this is also 5. ये x से कितना था 10 था, so you can see this is like this. ठीक है, तो यहाँ तक पहुंच गया after walking for 24 meters. Further he walks 5 meters and reaches point C after turning towards his left. So you can see C will be here because after turning left he goes for 5 meters. So you can see ये 5 है, ये 5 है. So that means point C will be towards the east of A. Right, so you can see C kahan par hoga, C will be towards the east of A. And what is this particular distance? You can see this distance will be equal to this distance, that is 7 meters. So what is, where is point A with respect to C? So A is towards the west of C and distance is 7 meters. So 7 meters west would be the right answer. Rakshit, absolutely great work. Are we clear everybody with this particular question? ये सबको समझ में आया कि नहीं? So this is the shadow concept, guys. That is, shadow is formed always opposite to the direction of the sun. जहां भी sun है उसके opposite direction में आपका shadow form होता है. Okay? चलो, next question on your screen. This is input output. Let's try it out. Let's see. So here you can see what we need to do is we have to understand the logic from these two inputs, right? These two examples here. You can see यहाँ पर step by step arrangement नहीं दिया है. We have not given the step by step arrangement here. Rather, we have directly given the output from the input. So there is a particular logic that is being followed for the arrangement, and the logic is same in example 1 and example 2. So you need to understand that particular logic and apply that particular logic to this given input and tell me that which of the following will be the output here. Okay. So tell me what should be the logic here. Anybody? Logic? What is the logic that we can see here? Okay, Rakshit says it has to be the fourth one. But what is the logic? Can you tell me the logic that is being followed here for each of these? There is a particular logic for this, for the words and for the numbers. Very easy. You can see words are also in the reverse alphabetical order, S, L, C, C, right? Words in the reverse order. And similarly, the numbers are also in the decreasing order, 71, 34, 25, 20, isn't it? And we have one word and one number. So we have taken the largest number and largest word, placed it towards the left hand side. Similarly, here also you can see Y is in 82, then Russian 45, green 23, erase 13 and dormant 12, right? So that has to be the logic, that the words have to be arranged in the reverse dictionary order, and similarly the numbers are also in the decreasing order. One word and one number at a time. That is largest word, that is the last word as per the dictionary, and the largest number is being picked every time, right? So where do we have the same logic here? Let's say Rakshit says 4, so let's check whether 4 is the right one. So wrist and 91, absolutely no issues. You can see R and Jim, right? So yes, H will be before. Jim and 23, that is again fine, because Jim and glass, you can see GY will be before GL. So GY and 23, glass 20 and class 12. Absolutely. So 4 would be the right answer here. ठीक है, तो 4 एकदम बिल्कुल सही आंसर है. I hope this is clear everyone. You are writing and again deleting it once again. Delete कर दिया. चलो कोई बात नहीं. I could not read what you wrote. चलो, thank you so much. But जो भी आपने लिखा था कुछ तो अच्छा ही लिखा था. Thank you. So again, let's go to the next question. Next question on your screen. Let's have a look at this one. Let's try. चलो जल्दी से इसको ट्राई करिए. A good question, a easy question here. Saransh. Okay, ma'am, I've watched your videos for IPS, SBI, PO means reasoning. One thing is, I can say you are a legend providing only quality content. Could you please do the same for and increase the level? I guess we have done a very good question today. The one that we had for the slots, सारांश, right? तो वो तो बहुत ही difficult level का question था, उतना तो मेंस में भी बहुत मुश्किल से आता है. But anyways, I'll do that, Saraj, right? So only take good questions which are good for your RBI grade B. Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, and thank you for the this comment here, Saraj. Right, it means a lot that you said all this. Thank you, Saraj. चलो जल्दी से इस क्वेश्चन को ट्राई करो. Let's see how this particular question is to be done here. Let's check. I hope everybody has gone through the question and seen that what needs to be done. Not a very difficult question. This comparatively जो first puzzle लिया था उसके comparison में तो बहुत ही doable है ये वाला question. So what is given? There are 10 persons who are living in a building in 10 different floors. Only one person on each floor. None of the floors are vacant. The floors are numbered 1 to 10 from bottom to top. The floors are painted either green, red or yellow in color. नो थ्री कॉन्जिक्यूटिव फ्लोर्स आर पेंटेड इन द सेम कलर. ठीक है, अब देखो क्या दे रखा है. ए's फ्लोर नंबर इज थ्राइस इज दैट ऑफ j's फ्लोर नंबर एंड बोथ एडजेसेंट फ्लोर्स ऑफ a आर ग्रीन इन कलर, right? And j lived immediately above red, so that means j cannot be 1, isn't it? J cannot be 1 here. That is 1 comma 3 is not a possibility for A and J because A has to be thrice of J. That means the possibilities will be like A is here and J is here. This is one possibility. Similarly, we can have as here and J as here, right? ये दोनों possibility बन सकती है, ठीक है? Now, if A is at this position, you can see both the adjacent floors of A has to be green. That means this is green and similarly this is also green. इस वाले केस में you can see this will be green here and this will be green. ठीक है, अब क्या दे रखा है? J lived immediately above a red floor. So okay, चलो ये red हो गया, इस वाले केस में ये वाला red हो गया. So you can see these are the two cases we are getting. And immediately below a yellow floor. Okay, चलो ये yellow हो गया यहाँ पर, ठीक है. And in this case, this is your yellow. Okay. After that, let's see what is given. G lived immediately above D and their floors were painted in the same color, right? So G has to be immediately above D and they have to be in the same color. ठीक है, चलो ये भी हो गया. तो बहुत सारी जगह है जहां पर हम G and D को रख सकते हैं. We will try that later. D's floor number was 4 more than H's floor number who lived in a yellow floor. Okay, so you can see that this is given that D's floor number has to be 4 plus H, right? D is equal to H plus 4 and H has to be in a yellow floor here, right? Whatever is H's floor, that has to be yellow. So let's say if we take your G and D here, so D at 9, that means H will be where? H will be 5, not a possibility, isn't it? You can say that's not possible because if you take 5 at this H at 5, he will be green, which is not possible, right? So let's say, let's take your G here and D here, right? G and D at this position. So if D is here, that means your H will be at 4 and 4 yellow, that's a possibility, isn't it? Let's say you take 8 and 7, again that's a possibility because 3 itself is yellow in color. So you can see in the first case, we have two possibilities here. You can see this is your green, A, green, okay, and this is your yellow, J, and red. Okay, let's take the two cases. Let's say we take your G here and D here. So if D is here, H will be here, yellow in color. This is one case. And similarly, we can have G here and D here. G and D are of the same color. That means in this case, this will be your green, right? Because G and D should have same color. तो अब D यहाँ पर है तो H will be here, right? Because D is 7, so H will be 3. H plus 4 ही तो है ना D. So you can see these are the two cases in the first one. Similarly, in the second one, where should we have your G and D? Let's say G here and D here. D is 7, so that means H has to be 3, which is not possible. H at 2, not possible. The only possibility here will be H at 1, right? So H yellow will be here. And if this is your H yellow, that means your D has to be 5, isn't it? So this will be your D and this will be your G. So these are the three cases that are possible right now. ठीक है, ये तीन cases बन रहे हैं. अब आगे देखो what is given here. Let's see. I's floor number is twice as that of B's floor number who lived immediately above a green floor. Okay, so I has to be 2B here, right? I has to be 2B and B has to be immediately above a green floor, right? तो B जो है वो green के just ऊपर रहता है and B का twice has to be your I. So let's see where should we have this possibility. In the first case, 10 comma 5, let's say if your I is 10, B will be 5, but B cannot be immediately above a green, right? Not possible. 8 is already taken, 6 is already taken, 4 is already taken, 2 is already taken. That means the first case is invalid. You cannot place your I and B, isn't it? Second वाले case में देखो 10 comma 5, can we have? No, 5 is already taken. 8 comma 4, that's a possibility and 4 is immediately above green, that's also possible, right? So 8 comma 4 हो सकता है. 6 not possible. 4 comma 2, that's a possibility, but 2 is immediately above green, that's not possible, and 2 comma 1 is also not possible. So in the second case, the only possibility will be 8 comma 4. So I is twice of B and B is immediately above green will be like this here, right? So this is the situation. Third वाले केस में देखो 10 comma 5, that's a possibility, right? You can see 10 is also completely vacant and this 5 is vacant and B can be immediately above green, वो हो सकता है. 8 not possible, 6 not possible, 4 comma 2 not possible, right? So the only possibility is 10 comma 5. So you can see I is twice of B, B is immediately above green will be like this. ठीक है, तो ये दो केस बन रहे हैं हमारे अभी तक. आगे देखते हैं, let's see. E lived immediately above a red floor. Okay, so E has to be immediately above red. So let's see where should we place your E and red. First वाले केस में E here, red at A possible. E here, red at G possible. E at second place not possible. इस वाले केस में देखो last वाले में E here green not possible. E here yellow not possible. E here not possible. That means this is invalid. तो मतलब second वाले केस में हमारा valid answer बनेगा. ठीक है. So let's complete this. Let's see whatever is remaining. We will quickly place two persons have to be there between E and C such that E lived somewhere above C. So you can see the only possibility will be E here and C here. E is immediately above red will be like this. ठीक है, तो ये हो गया E और red. Okay. After that, let's see what else is remaining. ये हो गया E immediately above a red and two people between E and C done. Floor 7 was not green. So you can see C is not green in color, right? ये green नहीं हो सकता. That means this has to be either a red or a yellow, right? This is either a red or a yellow. And we know that G and D have to be of the same color. ठीक है, G and D को same color होना चाहिए. अच्छा मान लो कि let's see how many. You can see there have to be at least 3 floors of each color. 3 color के floors होने ही चाहिए. For green, how many we have? You can see for green, 1 is there, 2 is there, 3 is there. So we already have 3 greens here, right? 3 greens तो हो चुके हैं. Red कितने हैं? You can see A is red and this second is red, right? तो ये second floor पे कौन बच रहा है? You can see who is the only person remaining. Person fill कर लेते चलो. A, B, C, D, E, F is remaining, I guess. तो F आपका यहाँ पर हो जाएगा. ठीक है, देखो 3 ग्रीन हो चुके हैं, हमारे पास 2 रेड्स हैं एंड येलो कितने हैं? वी हैव ओनली 2 येलोज, राइट? सो 2 येलोज है ना? एंड दिस सी हैज टू बी आइदर अ रेड और अ येलो. वी डू नॉट नो कौन सा कलर का है. तो अब देखो जी और डी का आपको देख के समझ में आ रहा है दैट वी हैव टू हैव एटलीस्ट 1 रेड एंड 1 येलो, राइट? एक रेड और एक येलो तो और ऐड करना ही पड़ेगा because there have to be at least 3 floors, 3 colors for each of these, 3 floors for each of these colors, है ना? अब G और D सेम कलर के होने चाहिए. They cannot be yellow here. क्यों? क्योंकि अगर येलो किया तो you will have 3 consecutive floors which are yellow in color, right? So you can see these cannot be yellow. G और D yellow नहीं हो सकते because B is already yellow and we know that no 3 consecutive floors were painted in the same color. ग्रीन ऐड कर नहीं सकते क्योंकि ग्रीन ऑलरेडी 3 है. सो इफ वी टेक G and D as green, then we will have 5 different floors for green, which is not a possibility. क्योंकि अगर 5 यहाँ पर किया तो एक ना एक ऐसा होगा जिसमें 2 ही कलर बचेंगे, राइट? सो यू कैन सी दैट द कॉम्बिनेशन हैज टू बी 4 3 and 3, isn't it? It has to be 3 3 4. So now you can see that red is not possible, yellow is not possible. That means green is not possible, yellow is not possible. So the only possibility will be red. So मतलब ये भी red होगा and ये भी red होगा. अगर ये दोनों red हुए, that means C cannot be red. So C has to be what? C has to be yellow. I hope this is clear everybody. तो ये आपका final arrangement बन गया. Are we clear with this question, guys? Please let me know if we have any doubts in this particular question. ये सबको समझ में आया कि नहीं? तो C जो होगा ना, that will be yellow in color. Are we clear everybody? Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? Okay. चलो, this is for your homework, right? ये आपका homework question है. Try to complete it. Not a very difficult one. बहुत easy सा question है. You can do it later, right? इसको try जरूर करना. And again Wednesday, right guys? Please remember that Monday and Wednesday we are having these sessions, right? So Monday and Wednesday, right? So Monday, Wednesday, 10 a.m. we are having these sessions regularly. Okay, for your RBI Grade B. So do not miss out because we are going to have absolutely great content for this particular examination and we need to practice a lot of questions for reasoning because reasoning comes for a very high weightage in your first phase, right? So 60 marks ka to reasoning hi hota hai. So if you are able to do well in the reasoning section, half of the battle is already won, isn't it? So practice a lot of good questions from reasoning. It will be helpful for your other banking examinations as well. अगर आप बाकी भी देने वाले हो, SBI देने वाले हो या IBPS देने वाले हो, so these classes are going to be useful for all other exams as well. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed today's session. In case you have any doubts, you can always feel free to reach out to me on Telegram on the channel Reasoning by Nikita 01. Okay. So आप इस पर्टिकुलर चैनल को ज्वाइन कर सकते हो, रीजनिंग बाय निकिता 01. ओके, so thank you so much guys. I hope you enjoyed today's session. In case you have any doubts, feel free to reach out to me on this channel. I'll be happy to help you out with it. So चलो फिर से वेडनेसडे को मिलेंगे 10 a.m. right, without fail. So please take care, stay safe, have a great day. I'll see you soon.